Good afternoon, hello and welcome to News Central TV. My name is Mazino Appeal. The top stories this hour. SERAP urges President Tinubu to reverse petrol price hike, threatens legal action. 2 days after deadly blaze, another Kenyan school catches fire, no injuries reported. And Sudan dismisses UN war crimes allegations, rejects call for independent force to safeguard civilians. Details shortly. Welcome. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has called on President Bola Tinubu to order the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to immediately reverse the recent hike in petrol prices. In a letter dated September 7, 2024 and signed by Deputy Director Kolawole Uluwadare, SERAP described the price increase as illegal and unconstitutional, arguing that it violates constitutional guarantees and international human rights obligations amid worsening economic hardships. SERAP also urged President Tinubu to instruct the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, and relevant anti-corruption agencies to investigate allegations of corruption and mismanagement within NNPCL. The organization warned that failure to act on its recommendations within 2 days would result in legal action to enforce compliance. Now, in the meantime, a coalition of civil society organizations in Rivers State is calling on the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, to investigate corruption allegations against Mohiba Dankaka, chairman of the Federal Character Commission. This comes amidst frustrations over the delay in the House of Representatives Committee's report on the issue, which remains outstanding over a year since the investigation began. During the committee hearing, chaired by Yusuf Gagdi, 14 witnesses testified that they paid money to Haruna Kolo, a former IPPIS desk officer at the FCC, in exchange for job placements. Kolo admitted to collecting money from job seekers and claimed to have passed the funds on to Dankaka. NFR George Will, chairman of the River State Civil Society Organization, criticized the House of Representatives for its inaction and urged anti-graft agencies to prove their effectiveness beyond tackling minor cyber crimes. And away from that, the special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, has stepped down from his role with immediate effect. In a statement issued by him on Saturday, Ngelale said he had submitted a memo to the Chief of Staff to the President Femi Gbajabiamila, informing him of his plan to proceed on indefinite leave. Ngelale added that he has stepped down as the Special Presidential Envoy on Climate Action and Chairman of the Presidential Steering Committee on Project Evergreen. News Central's Adeshawa Odushoga takes us through his journey as a journalist and politician in the last 5 years.
In 2019, Ajuri Ngelale took a significant career shift, hanging his heart as a seasoned senior reporter and presenter with Channels Television and AIT respectively, to take on a new role as the Presidential Senior Special Advisor on Public Affairs to President Muhammadu Buhari. Ngelale started journalism career as a youth corps member at Africa Independence Television. He was retained by AIT, where he worked from 2011 to 2016.
Ajuri Ngelale, AIT News.
He left AIT in 2016 and joined Channels Television, where he served as a co-anchor of popular public policy discussion program, Sunrise Daily.
So many things going on in the country, so many policies and programs being...
In 2019, Ajuri resigned from Channels Television to become lead media content producer for the All Progressives Congress Next Level presidential campaign for the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari on the Buhari Oshibajo Presidential Campaign Organization. Following their victory at the poll in 2019, President Buhari appointed Ngelale as a senior special advisor on public affairs and served in this capacity till 2023, when President Buhari left office. In October 2022, Ngelale was appointed co-principal spokesperson of Tinubu Shatima Presidential Campaign Organization. On July 31, 2023, President Bola Tinubu appointed Ngelale as his official spokesperson. He was later appointed as the first special presidential envoy on climate action and the chairman of the Presidential Steering Committee on Project Evergreen. Ngelale was born in USA to a Nigerian father and German-American mother. He earned a degree in political science and history from the University of Kansas and returned to Nigeria in 2011 for his National Youth Service Corps. While announcing an indefinite leave of absence, Ajuri cited medical concerns and family matters. In Lagos for News Central, Adeshawa Odushoga.
Now to security matters. The Sokoto state government has come under heavy criticism over the alleged neglect of some rural communities in the state, which have suffered from relentless attacks by bandits who have made life unbearable for citizens in the affected area. This was made known to News Central television crew as it visited Gwabadawa village in the Sokoto East Senatorial District, which has become a flashpoint for bandit activities. News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu reports.
A federal road in Sokoto East Senatorial District connecting the northeast to the northwest of the state. This was the road where the late Emir of Gobir, Isa Bawa, was kidnapped by bandits and subsequently murdered while on his way home to Sabon Birni. News Central television crew visited the road, stopping at Godabawa community. This is Godabawa, the headquarters of Godabawa local government here in Sokoto East Senatorial District of Sokoto State. Now, the general impression about Sokoto East Senatorial District is the fact that it is being bedeviled by banditry and insecurity. But on coming here, we discovered that Godabawa is a very calm place. But of course, they told us that of course there are a lot of loopholes in some places where there are issues of insecurity. But I have a gentleman here, a very great stakeholder of the Godabawa community, who is going to tell us what is really happening in Godabawa. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sunana Murtala Muhammad Agara, Godabawa local government.
Yawa, za ga mana me ke faruwa ne mun shigo an ce wai a nan Sokoto ta Kudu Senatorial District cewa akwai matsaloli na tsaro. Amma kuma mun zo mun ga Godabawa kuma lafiya take, ga mana me ke faruwa.
Gaskiya akwai matsaloli na tsaro. Godabawa da yake cikin gari gaskiya muna da kwanciyar hankali nan cikin gari gaskiya. Amma da yake in ka zagaya irin wajen gari gaskiya suna da 'yan matsaloli. Saboda akwai garuruwan da ma an tashe su da garuruwan su sun dawo nan cikin Godabawa headquarter sun bar garuruwan su. Irin kamar zaka ga irin Tsolawo nan tana ƙauyen Godabawa, akwai irin su Atakwanyo, irin su Duraka. Zaka samu irin waɗannan matsalolin an koro su sun bar garuruwan su sun dawo nan cikin gari headquarter ta local government sun zama. Gaskiya akwai matsalolin tsaro irin wajen gari, amma gaskiya cikin headquarter ta local government gaskiya is normal.
Especially akwai wannan wani gari wanda aka ce Matsolawo. Kwanakin baya last one month ago, 'yan bandit sun zo sun yi aka especially yanzu ma haka duk Tsolawo babu mutane sun dawo nan cikin gari saboda takura da 'yan bandit kai musu. Sannan nan kafin a yi sallah babbar daren sallah an samu wani episode wanda ya faru nan wani gari wanda ake ce ma Tudun Doki. Duk da nan zuwa Tudun Doki bai wuce kilomita 1.5 ko kilomita 2. Daren sallah bandit sun shigo sun kashe mutane. Sannan tsakaninsu da jami'an tsaron da ke zama nan hanyar bai wuce kilomita guda. An kira jami'an tsaro ba su zo ba, sai an ƙara abu sannan jami'an tsaro ka zuwa su ce ba a ba su oda ba ko kuma da sauransu.
A lecturer at the Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, Professor Bello Bada, took time to give his views on the security situation affecting the state.
A Fulani man without a cattle is useless. So when most of them were robbed of their cattle through injustice, what else do you think? They had nowhere to complain. No provision was made for people like them to complain. So what did you expect? From there they started gathering themselves, discussing. And now they started to get involved in criminalities because they were people not religiously educated well, not educated in the Western style. And they had no boundary. They don't need a passport in order to walk from Gambia to Nigeria, or even from Senegal to Nigeria. They don't need a passport. The forest is their route. So what do you want? You push them to the wall. They were complaining. Even if you listen to Turji, even now, he was still complaining of that. And now when they were pressed further, they formed associations. waiting for revenge. Their grudge actually was not with the government because they didn't understand government. Their grudge was more with the very people who oppressed them. And they call them the Hausa people, because the Hausa people are the village heads, district heads, emirs, and so on and so forth. And that was their grudge. And there is no way you can separate Hausa man with a Fulani man. There is no way. There is no way. But that's their grudge because they are village heads. They are the district heads and so on and so forth. And from there, it became an industry. And when it became an industry, more people came in and are cashing on it. Then, with the policies of government, impoverish the community.
This road leads to Sabon Birni, the same road Emir of Gobir Isaba was kidnapped and later killed. It is hoped that the reactions that was generated as a result of his demise will bring more security on this road to safeguard the people of Sokoto East Senatorial District. In Godabawa local government, for News Central in Sokoto State, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
Our correspondent there, Emmanuel Bagudu. And of course, Emmanuel Bagudu joins us now for more update on that report. Emmanuel, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon yet again. Emmanuel, I see that you made the journey from Abuja to Sokoto. So my first question would be, on the way, what kind of environment were you faced with? Is it an isolated journey? Do you find that there are security agents along the way, or is it absolutely isolated that makes it possible for these kinds of bandit activities to take place?
Yes. When you mention isolated journey, it depends on what you mean, because I'm talking about me driving on the road just alone. You know, you hardly see any car because the roads are so scanty, so empty, so deserted. I mean, communities, you can run past through a whole community where there are no single individual, all sent away by bandits and terrorists. So that's how, precarious the environment is. Up to Sokoto, that's talking about from Gusau to Sokoto, about 3 to 4 hours journey. So it's a scanty journey. But of course, you see pockets of security operatives, on the highway, doing some checkpoints and all that. But of course, it's quite an interesting experience, of course.
Okay.
And then coming into Sokoto, everywhere is calm. So the vulnerable persons out there are the ones in the villages, and all that,
I can understand how vulnerable they might feel. Now, the lecturer there from Osman Danfodio University, inside of the report, made some implicative remarks regarding the relationship between the tribes, the Hausa and the Fulani people. In terms of coexistence in Guadabala, what is the coexistence like between different tribes?
Yes, he only trying to, do some analysis to, take us down memory lane how this whole, mess started. Of course, all the bandits, all the terrorists that you are seeing are Fulani speaking bandits. And of course, he just tried to create some reasons why they are doing that, to make us understand why it has to be strategic to end this problem. The problem is very, very clear, very, very obvious, that these terrorists are jobless people whose government policies didn't, affected them, making them, to have some clashes, which will result to them losing their cattle. And he made it clear that a Fulani man without a cattle is an idle man, and an idle Fulani man is vulnerable and can go into crime. So that is how, this terrorism started. That's what he meant by all those what he was saying. So it's not that there is a particular clash, no, but what he's trying to say is that to nip this problem in the bud, it has to be very, very strategic. It has to come to do with a lot of dialogue. These bandits that are inside this bush should be, brought to the dialogue table. And then whatever they claim they have lost in terms of cattle, if it should be given to them, they should be compensated. Then, of course, we cannot start talking about, how to end the banditry and the terrorism in the Northwest. Yeah.
Finally, Emmanuel, regarding dialogue, has any of the authorities involved been able to draw these members into dialogue? The lecturer spoke about their difference in education. Will they be able to do that, to draw them into negotiation and also dialogue?
Yes, that is the work that is ongoing right now in the Northwest. We have a lot of humanitarian organizations coming in to design a lot of programs, that will lead to this de-radicalization of these terrorists, and then of course bringing them in, integrating them into the society, and then make them reason like normal human beings, because all of them are so aggrieved, if you look at the way they behave in their operations. So it's a journey, it's a process that's ongoing. And then of course the media is coming in, to amplify the stories of these vulnerable communities, making the call for this dialogue, the call to the end of this banditry, an urgent call. So that is the situation right now. So it's a process that is ongoing. Stakeholders are talking every day, about this issue, and the conversation continues. And then we hope to see that these things, reduce in coming years, in coming months, as time goes on. Yeah.
Well, Emmanuel Bagudu, thank you very much for bringing us that report and also joining us on the news here this afternoon. Please have a safe drive back to Abuja. Thank you. Now, time for a break, but when we get back, we'll be talking about the Binance executive Gambarian's detention as it sparks international curiosity. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, in the meantime, a senior official at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has confirmed that the United States is seeking consular access to Tigran Gambarian, a detained Binance executive currently held at the Kuje Custodial Center in Abuja. Gambarian, a U.S. citizen and Binance's financial crimes compliance chief, was arrested in February 2024 alongside another executive, Anjuwala, upon their arrival in Nigeria. Their detention is linked to ongoing investigation that alleges connection between Binance to money laundering and terrorism financing. Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja has set October 9 as the date to rule on a fresh bail application submitted by Gambarian's legal team. Concerns about Gambarian's health have been raised, with Binance CEO Richard Teng urging for his release due to claims of inadequate medical care. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, National Disciplinary Committee has received reports from the National Working Committee regarding alleged anti-party activities involving the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and others. The committee, chaired by former Foreign Affairs Minister Tommy Kimi, is tasked with addressing and managing disciplinary issues within the party. Wike, a former governor of Rivers State, and several others have been summoned to appear before the panel following multiple petitions accusing them of anti-party activities and sabotage during the 2023 elections. The allegations include claims that Wike and 4 other former PDP governors, Sheyi Makinde of Oyo State, Ifeanyi Uwayi of Enugu State, Samuel Ortom, Benue State, and Okeze Ikpeazu of Abia State, worked against the party and its presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar. The rift reportedly stemmed from disagreements over the refusal of the former PDP national chairman Inyachia Ayu to step down for a southern candidate. Nigeria's All Progressive Congress has unveiled a progressive institute aimed at developing a national ideology for the party. The institute, which was unveiled in the nation's capital, Abuja, will also promote excellence in democratic education and help the party chart a roadmap to good governance, which will be adopted by successive governments under the platform of the party. Amadin Uyi reports.
The institute is the first of its kind among political parties in the country. Senior party faithfuls say that it will deepen the nation's democratic landscape and ensure political parties are identified with their ideology and vision for citizens.
The Progressive Institute was conceived as an independent, self-sustaining organization, and that implies that it will be financed from its activities. It will therefore be managed efficiently like any other consultancy outfit within the context of our commitment to the progressive ideals and values of our party and the interests of our party, the All Progressive Congress.
The Institute manifests our collective desire as Nigeria's ruling political party to enrich the nation's polity as well as the nature, character, and the quality of engagement. It is also to fundamentally reorder, reshape, and leave a lasting legacy on the relationship between political parties and the Nigerian voter.
Ultimately facilitate the training of party members, promote the ideal of good governance, as well as institutionalize the progressive ideology.
The Progressive Institute will definitely represent our unwavering commitment to fostering a culture of good governance, providing access to quality leadership education and democratic ideals, empowering leaders with the skills, knowledge, and the character to drive positive change, and building a better Nigeria through knowledge, understanding, and responsible citizenship.
They add that it will transform the way politics is played in Nigeria, focusing on good governance and development.
We want politics to deliver development, justice, peace, harmony to our people. This cannot be done in a vacuum. It has to be done by creating a level playing field. Nigerians and African politics have been consumed by mysticism, voodooism, sorcery, occultism, necromancy, witchcraft, and shamanism.
One of the reasons why our democratic space is congested is because everyone sees elections in public office as the only way. But there are other opportunities within governance structure. And we want to work with our partners, our leaders, to explore, to identify, and encourage Nigerians to look for how they could be involved in governance without necessarily going into politics.
The institute is not only for APC. It's a learning center for all. So it doesn't matter who emerges. What is important is service to the grassroots.
According to chieftains of the All Progressives Congress, the institute will serve as a springboard for the party to professionalize their act of governance. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
Some women in Adamawa State, northeast Nigeria, have called for the support of female lawmakers to push for policies that will allow women to fairly participate in politics. The group, also known as the Adamawa Concerned Women in Politics, made the appeal during a visit to the only female State House of Assembly lawmaker in the state.
Adamawa Concerned Women in Politics is steadfast in its mission to empower women to not only participate in politics but also to lead. We believe that with your support, Honorable Kate, and the support of the entire House, our advocacy will yield significant and lasting change, paving the way for a more inclusive and equitable political environment in Adamawa State.
Gone are the days when manna falls from heaven. Gone are the days. So we shouldn't take chances and allow, what do you call it, angels or prophets to come and deceive us that we'll wait for space. For how long are we going to wait for the space? You have to be deliberate. You have to go out there and look for your own space. There's no limit. Don't see that because you are a woman, you have... No. Gone are days when we are being barricaded to join politics.
Renovating correctional centers, decongesting them through judicial reforms, and expediting trials are essential to improving living conditions in these facilities. Regular training for wardens and other officials is also crucial to safeguarding the rights and dignity of inmates. There's more details here in this report.
Viral video from the Calabar Correctional Center showing inmate allegedly served a meager breakfast of poorly cooked beans sparked outrage, shedding light on the dire conditions in correctional centers. The footage serves as a grim reminder of the long-standing issues of abuse, overcrowding, and neglect plaguing the system.
People are locked up in some prisons that 5, 6, 7 years, they have not even go to court.
Our case management system has been a very huge setback. We don't digitalize. A number of people you find awaiting trial in most considered facilities don't even have files. Detention procedure need to be reviewed in this part of the world because, again, there is some level of gaps and setback, which is also not aligning with the consistency that we have within the administration of criminal justice regime.
With nearly 76,000 inmates crammed into facilities designed to hold 50,000, the consequences are devastating.
One of the facilities in Kwara recently, the inmates were carrying each other because they were weak, they couldn't walk. they have been infected with some kind of diseases because of the level of number. They are overcrowded where they defecate. You will realize that it is actually a breeding ground for virus and how things can spread very fast. If you see the food they eat, they are fed about once a day.
Approximately 70% of inmates are awaiting trial, some for years without a hearing, contributing to a sense of hopelessness. Many inmates resort to violence or self-harm as a means of coping. Experts argue that Nigeria's justice system focuses too heavily on punitive measures rather than adopting a restorative approach.
In order to promote the interests of victims and the rehabilitation of offenders, there's a need to develop restorative justice policies, procedures, and programs
to foster a more compassionate and inclusive justice system, address the root causes of conflicts and crimes, promote accountability and responsibility, support victims' recovery and empowerment.
Though the Nigerian government has pledged reforms to improve conditions in these facilities, critics argue that these efforts remain insufficient.
The government has actually reviewed the feeding allowance of inmates in our custody with 50%. And this is just the first phase of the review. The government is also looking at the next phase where they will actually improve the allowance of inmates.
The center's security vulnerabilities have become even more concerning following several high-profile jailbreaks in recent years. Experts say Nigeria must prioritize human rights and dignity of inmates while working towards a fairer and more just criminal justice system. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Correctional Service has launched an investigation into the Calabar incident, acknowledging that the videos does not reflect its commitment to welfare of inmates. In Lagos 4 News Central, I am Igbalani Omani.
Education is widely regarded as the foundation of civilization. This underscores the crucial role education plays in individual and societal advancement. News Central's Chizoba Nyonwe took to the streets of Jos, the Plateau State capital, to gauge parents' preparedness as their children prepare for the 2024-25 academic session amidst the backdrop of a struggling economy. Her report.
While education is essential for children's future opportunities and success, the necessary resources must be available to support this goal. Ensuring that children are enrolled in quality schools is a major priority for many parents. Unfortunately, current economic hardships are a significant obstacle to this goal. With the new school session just around the corner, many parents may struggle to afford school fees, potentially preventing their children from returning to school.
Things are hard. Many parents, the children will not go back to school this time around. Look at the fuel scarcity, feeding is even a problem. From here to here, they will tell you that 300, 500. So things are so difficult for parents, really.
And this school issue, seriously, I think in the future, if they do not do something, some like us, our children will not go to school. Seriously. So we are appealing to government to please help us to adjust some things.
My children will be resuming school on Monday, and it has been, a really headache on how we're going to do with the school runs. The cost of fuel has just been increased, and I remember in August there was a protest asking the president to help reduce the price of fuel, and instead of reducing, we're now seeing an increase. And I know a lot of things it will be a ripple effect.
Knowing that you have to go back to pay higher school fees this term, because I think everything has continued to increase daily. So the condition is really, really so dire for everyone, honestly.
In the past, many relied on government support, but today, skepticism about government assistance is widespread. However, some still hold out hope for governmental solutions.
As I'm talking to you now, even my own self, my family, they cannot even eat once a day, sir. So the thing is very difficult for us.
I don't think at this point in time government can do anything for us. Because we've been saying government needs to do this, government needs to do this, and they've always been doing the opposite. They've consistently been doing the opposite of what we've been asking them to do. So I don't really know how government can help us anymore.
Definitely the school fees will be increased because of feeding, especially boarding students. They have to increase their feedings. So it's not going to be easy for parents. Things are really hard. Government's supposed to do something.
It's not easy. We're just hoping and relying on God because this new term now, they've increased school fees. Price of fuel has gone up, everything has gone up. So the government should come to the aid of Nigerians.
Given the current situation, the number of out-of-school children may rise unless significant measures are taken to alleviate the economic strain on families. Only time will tell how this pans out in the lives of the Nigerian children. In Jos for News Central, Chizoba Anyuwi.
Now let's take a close look at a crucial issue of hairline loss affecting women. Adebola Adedugba dives deep into the causes and possible solutions here in this package.
Imagine you wake up one day and looking into the mirror to see that 65% of your hair is gone. That's what hair experts say hair extensions will do to your hair if not well managed.
So much of frontal, because it's so much of tight braid, so much of Ghana UV tight can cause it.
You know, there's some people, whenever they retouch, they wanted to make braid at that very day. Oh, no, now. You should allow the hair to rest. Allow it to breathe. Kilo day. You allow it to rest for like probably 2 to 3 days. Then you can now make the hair. And you can look at this hair. Oh, my God. We will have the patience to make this hair, but we want to lose it. Hey, some people will just take it, they want to remove it like that. Forget it. Your hair will cut.
The first documented use of hair extensions took place all the way back in ancient Egypt over 5,000 years ago. Not only did ancient Egyptians use hair extensions, they had a variety of options such as fixed wigs, sewn-on hairpieces and braids. There is no gainsaying that the haircare market is a lucrative one, as the revenue for the haircare market is projected to reach $102 million in 2024. But beneath this beauty may lie a beast of hair loss.
Your hair too is part of your body. Please take care of it. We are begging you. Take care of it if you don't want it to lose. And please, this hair, at least 1 week, you remove it carefully, gently. You can put oil or conditioner on it before you remove it. It will make it to remove easily. You don't need to force it.
Hairline loss for women, what dermatologists call marginal traction alopecia, ensuring that you do gentle hairstyles, ensuring that you have adequate nutrients, vitamin D, iron levels as well. And also you can see your dermatologist for other definitive forms of treatment. There are some forms of treatment that can be used for marginal traction alopecia. We do microneedling, we do some topical treatments, and in the early stages of marginal traction alopecia, these therapies can be quite effective. In the later stages of marginal traction alopecia, usually you want to think about hair transplantation once other possibilities are ruled out. But it's always better to, try and treat it early so you don't have to spend so much money on hair transplantation, which usually is the only effective treatment at the later stages.
The causes of hair loss are multifaceted, but with proper hair care, it can be avoided or corrected. Remember, beauty should not cost you your hairline. In Lagos for News Central, Adebola Adedugba.
Good advice there. Coming up, Kenya police confirms fire at girls' school in Isiolo. We'll bring you the details after the break. Welcome back. A fire broke out at a girls' school in central Kenya on Saturday night, just 2 days after a deadly blaze killed 24 boys at another school. National Police spokeswoman Rasila Onyango reported that the fire was reported at around 8 p.m. at a school in Isiolo sub-country. Officers, along with Kenyan Defense Forces and Isiolo Airport fire engines, responded swiftly to contain the blaze. Onyango confirmed that no injuries were reported among students and staff. The incident occurred about 140 kilometers northeast of Hillside Indarasha Academy, where a fire tore through a dormitory full of sleeping boys on Thursday night. Sudan has dismissed a call by UN experts for the deployment of an independent force to protect millions of civilians displaced by over a year of war. The conflict, which began in April last year between the army and paramilitary forces, has killed tens of thousands and sparked a severe humanitarian crisis. UN experts on Friday reported harrowing violations by both sides, possibly amounting to war crimes and crimes against humanity, and urged for an impartial force to safeguard civilians immediately. However, Sudan's foreign ministry, aligned with the army under General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, rejected the UN mission's recommendations, labeling the UN Human Rights Council a political and illegal body and accusing the panel of overstepping its mandate. Still ahead, Paris erupts in protests as left-wing demonstrators denounce Macron's appointment of Michel Barnier as PM. We'll bring you details after the break. Left-wing demonstrators flooded the streets of Paris on Thursday to protest President Emmanuel Macron's appointment of centre-right Michel Barnier as Prime Minister, condemning it as a coup de force. Macron's decision to name Barnier, a 73-year-old former foreign minister and the European Union's Brexit negotiator, aims to break the political deadlock following snap election in which Macron's centrist alliance came second. Following the move, the move has sparked outrage among the left-wing coalition, now the largest political bloc in France after the June-July elections, though it's still without a majority. The coalition has fiercely criticized Macron's decision to bring in Barnier, viewing it as an attempt to sideline their influence in the new government.
Vous en pensez quoi? Comment aujourd'hui vous allez faire travailler des gens qui sont antagonistes depuis plusieurs décennies pour certains? Vous croyez que M. Barnier va arriver et d'un claquement de doigts, des gens de l'extrême gauche, de l'extrême droite, de la gauche, de la droite, du centre vont arriver à travailler ensemble? Les mêmes personnes qui nous disent aujourd'hui, qui étaient au gouvernement hier, qui nous disent qu'il faut être intelligent, travailler ensemble, mais eux, quand ils avaient la majorité, ils ne nous écoutaient pas, ils décidaient de manière verticale. Donc M. Barnier m'amuse beaucoup, et ses petits amis aussi. Soyons sérieux. Aujourd'hui...
Les Français ont voté aux élections législatives. Ils ont placé le Front de gauche en tête, le résultat. Et en fait, Macron ne respecte pas le vote des Français, puisqu'il nomme un Premier ministre qui est de droite, même plutôt très à droite, puisqu'il est Rassemblement national compatible, visiblement. Et ce n'est pas du tout ce que les Français ont exprimé.
Now business. The private sector in Zimbabwe is set to finance nearly 100,000 hectares of food crop production with an estimated cost of $175 million. This move aligns with the government's policy requiring private companies to source at least 40% of their raw materials they need through value chain financing with farmers. With agriculture accounting for 65% of the sector's raw materials needs, the strategy aims to boost local production, reduce imports, and support industry growth. Key contractors under the Food Crop Contractors Association will fund crops like maize, soybeans, and sorghum, targeting an output of 394,000 tons across 97,000 hectares. This private initiative complements the National Enhanced Agriculture Productivity Scheme and aims to enhance food security and agriculture output in the country. The strategic shift from soybeans being primarily considered an oilseed crop to a feed crop, coupled with the promotion of sunflower and cotton, has led to a reduction in the annual area requirement for soybeans, decreasing from 640,000 hectares to just 240,000 hectares. Sports now. Super Eagles caretaker coach Osni Aguavon believes the team can adapt to any style of play. In their recent 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier, Aguavon employed a 3-4-3 formation against Benin Republic, leading to a decisive 3-0 victory. Ademola Lookman scored twice and Victor Osimhen added a third goal as a substitute. Aguavon praised the success of this tactical approach. Looking ahead, the Super Eagles will face the Amavubi of Rwanda in their next match. Scheduled for Tuesday at Amahoro Stadium in Kigali, this upcoming encounter will test their ability to transition smoothly between different styles of play.
It's only information. And we have players with quality. You can decide to play in any system. It's something we discussed, and I also observed, I slept over it, and I know, with the caliber of players that we have, we can decide to play any formation and be successful. The players are always there. And, when much is expected from Nigerians, that's where we see performance. People have been, we've been getting a lot of backlash, and then the boys didn't know it, and we know we have the caliber and quality to be able to beat anything. But we rest.
Nigeria's under-20 women's team, the Falconettes, advanced to the round of 16 at the 2024 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in Colombia with a 4-0 victory over Venezuela. Aminat Bello scored the opener in the 16th minute, followed by Chiamaka Okuchukwu's goal in the 28th minute and Floris Sebastian's strike just before halftime. Joy Ibukwe added the final goal, scoring 2 wins in 3 group stage matches. Nigeria had previously defeated Korea Republic 1-0 and lost 1-3 to Germany. This marks the 9th time the Falconettes have reached the knockout stages. Despite Germany's group stage loss, they topped Group D on goal difference, while Nigeria also advanced with 6 points, but a lower goal difference. In world number 2, Aryna Sabalenka won the New York title with a 7-5, 7-5 victory over Jessica Pegula, adding the US Open to her back-to-back Australian Open triumphs. Sabalenka, the first woman since Angelique Kerber in 2016 to win both hard court majors in the same season, struck 40 winners and overcame nearly early struggles, including a 0-3 deficit in the second set. Despite a strong comeback from Pegula, who rallied from 2-5 to 5-5, Sabalenka secured the win in a marathon 12th game of the second set. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. SERAP urges President Tinubu to reverse petrol price hike, threatens legal action. And 2 days after deadly blaze, another Kenyan school catches fire, no injuries reported. Sudan dismisses UN war crimes allegations, rejects call for independent force to safeguard civilians. Do remember you can send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on your screen now. And do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, and Avo TV, and of course on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. My name is Mazino Peel.